This is Big Island Video News for Tuesday, July 24th, 2012. I'm Stephanie Salazar. Big Island police arrested 3 people as they raided 3 separate Hilo gaming centers last Friday afternoon. They executed search warrants at the Tilt Amusement Center on Poanico Street, Da Little Game Shack on East Kawili Street, and the 777 Arcade on Monono Street. Police say they used undercover officers and tips from the public to corroborate the suspected gambling activities. The police action began around 2 p.m. on Friday, July 20th. Police seized 33 suspected illegal gambling machines, suspected gambling records, and large amounts of cash. The 3 employees arrested, 1 from each establishment, were released pending further investigation. Area 1 Vice Section Lieutenant Bert Shumabukuro, in a release issued on Monday, said police wanted to thank the public for providing tips and information that assisted them with the disruption of the suspected illegal gambling operations. Vice detectives are continuing the investigation. Police on Monday released the name of the Hanamoo man who was found fatally stabbed Sunday morning at a home in Hanamoo. He was 30-year-old Joshua Earl Trickell. On Sunday, police arrested 49-year-old Daniel Schuster of Hanamoo, and he remains in custody at the Hilo police cell block while detectives continued their investigation, which they classified as second-degree murder. No motive or relationship between Trickell and the suspect has been released by police. Police add that an autopsy is scheduled for Tuesday, July 24th, to determine the exact cause of death. About 6:18 a.m. on Sunday, July 22nd, police responded to a home on Pua Street in Hanamoo after receiving a report of a stabbing. There they discovered the victim, Joshua Earl Trickell, within the residence with injuries and no apparent signs of life. Police report they have arrested a suspect in last Wednesday's shooting incident in the parking lot of the Orchid Manor condominium complex in Hilo. On Monday morning, police located and arrested 34-year-old Jarvis Naoki Higa of Hilo. He was wanted in connection with their attempted murder investigation. He was located in Mountain View and arrested without incident on suspicion of second-degree attempted murder. On Wednesday, July 18th, about 1:10 a.m., police responded to a report of a man threatening a 34-year-old Hilo man with a firearm. Police determined that a round was discharged in the parking lot of the Orchid Manor condominium on Kalanianaole Avenue in Hilo before the suspect fled the area. The victim was not injured. Police ask for your help in locating a man missing from the Halenani Correctional Facility. Police say the suspected escapee, 32-year-old Dallas Wesley Runyon, is not considered dangerous. However, police advise the public to avoid contacting him. About 11 o'clock on Saturday, the Halenani Correctional Facility off Route 11 reported that Runyon of Ka'u had left the facility without authorization. Runyon is described as Caucasian, about 5 foot 10 inches tall, 175 pounds, with blue eyes, shoulder-length brown or blonde hair. He was last seen wearing a white shirt with inmate printed on the back, gray sweatpants, and shoes. He may have a goatee and a mustache. Police say Runyon also has several tattoos, the most prominent ones being a gargoyle on his right forearm, a dragon on his inner left forearm, and others on his right arm and both legs. Call Detective Joel Field at 961-2381 if you know of the whereabouts of Runyon. Tipsters who prefer to remain anonymous may call Crime Stoppers at 961-8300 in Hilo or 329-8181 in Kona and may be eligible for a reward of up to $1,000. Crime Stoppers is a volunteer program run by ordinary citizens who want to keep their community safe. Crime Stoppers doesn't record phone calls or subscribe to caller ID, and all Crime Stoppers information is kept confidential. This Saturday, visitors to Imiloa Astronomy Center in Hilo were able to get up close to the machines that will pave the way for humans to colonize outer space. Some of NASA's futuristic lunar rovers were the main attraction in Imiloa's busy rear parking lot.
And the next mission to the moon probably will be private and not NASA. In fact, this Resolve package may be on one of the Google Lunar X Prizes. They just need a ride to get there.
This week wrapped up NASA's return to the slopes of Mauna Kea in preparation for future space exploration.
This year is the third year that Pisces has hosted an international research effort here on testing space systems in what we call an analog environment. Now, most people think analog digital. No, analog means analogous to. There are places here on this island that are very, very similar, not identical, but similar to both the moon and Mars.
Big Island Video News has joined these same scientists on past missions to Mauna Kea, where machines dug in, hoping to produce oxygen from dirt.
To live off the land and space and to go to destinations beyond low Earth orbit, we need to be able to produce oxygen. We need to be able to produce power. We need to be able to produce water, things of that nature.
And it's not rockets get us there, but once you get there, what do we do? And that's what we really specialize in.
John Hamilton currently heads the Pacific International Space Center for Exploration Systems, or PICES. He says after years of work, scientists say they have been able to prove the machines will work.
Well, one of the things that's different this year from the others is being the third test of the same project, they won't be coming back here. Now, it doesn't mean that NASA and the Canadian Space Agency and other world agencies won't come back to Hawaii. This particular mission won't need to come back because they've already developed and proved their technologies here. Their next time they will be here, the next time they do something, will be on a flight to the South Pole of the Moon to actually prospect for the water that the L-Cross mission showed that was there. And so that's one of the stunning successes here, is that they have tested from the early development stages to the flight certification of this procedure. And so that is a good feather in our cap for future missions. Why is that important? Because you don't have to take it with us, and that is a high cost of going to space. It's bringing it off the Earth's surface. And in many ways, this is identical to what the Polynesians did when they did their voyaging. They did not fill their canoes with everything they needed for the next 10 years. They took what they needed for the voyage and then lived off the land when they got there. And that's exactly the new paradigm shift for space exploration, is we know we can make what we need to live when we get there. So we only have to take what we need to get there, which makes the cost of going into space, into the moon, very, very affordable and cheaper.
Some of those machines, like the star of the show, Resolve, which stands for Regolith and Environment Science and Oxygen and Lunar Volatile Extraction, were there to meet their fans closer to sea level in Hilo on Saturday. Some even had a chance to try their hand at controlling the rovers. Hawaii has a hot commodity for these scientists. The island's soil is most like that found on the volcanic plains of the moon or even Mars.
This stuff here is loaded with iron oxide, rust. We have chemical processes that will remove that oxygen from the iron so that we can have it to breathe.
That means the Big Island has an important role to play in planning for the next mission to the moon, a mission that will most likely be carried out by private dollars.
We need to remember the era of commercial space is upon us. There's SpaceX, there's Bigelow Industries, there's many other companies. There's the Google Lunar X Prize, which we're working very closely with. The era of commercial space will happen, and what the moon represents now is a wealth of resources that the Earth needs. And bringing the moon and other places in space into the economic spheres of the Earth is what's going to happen in the near future.
We're talking like rare earth metal kind of stuff?
We're talking about from common things like water that you need up there, but also there's rare earth elements. And these are the things used in our technology, our iPods, the really good, your small earbuds have very strong magnets in it. That's a rare earth element. There are things that are in our television displays, a lot of computers and telecommunications. I mean, this is why computers are recycled and sent to India so they can pull out these rare earth elements and recycle them. And they're called rare earth elements because they are rare, but not in the universe, only on the surface of the Earth. Well, it turns turns out they're very common on the moon. And some of these elements are on Earth here. China has a monopoly on one. Afghanistan has a monopoly on the other. So as you know, you can easily see that it's important if we want to keep our technology to have access to these materials. There's also platinum group metals. So if we're talking about platinum is used on all the catalytic converters in your cars, things like that. So bringing those resources there and coming down, bringing them to Earth is important. And many people said, well, what are you going to do? Go strip mine the moon? And it's like, well, do you want to strip mine the Earth? And we're not strip mining, but there are ways to use these resources. And the important thing to realize is the Earth is getting more and more populated, and our population is doubling. Everyone wants a good quality of life. You have to have the resources and the energy to keep those quality of lives up. And otherwise, we're going to have wars, we're going to have some very bad days ahead. If we can bring in more resources into the Earth, then perhaps the future will be a bit rosier.